Right then. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to round 14, the final round of the F1 Series Championship here on Trinity Competitive Racing. I'm K997, your commentator for this race, and tonight we are racing at the Losail International Circuit for the Qatar Grand Prix. Was introduced into Formula One in 2021 as part of the ways to just contract with the whole COVID situation. Of course, Qatar was the racetrack that actually replaced Australia, if I remember correctly, in 2021. But ever since then, it's now been a stable home for Formula One, and it will be from, it made its return in 2023, and will be the home of the Qatar Grand Prix for another 10 years. This track you may be familiar with if you are a MotoGP fan. Of course, this track has been used in MotoGP a lot in the past, but now it's home to both Formula One and MotoGP. It is a 3.3-mile racetrack with 16 turns and only one singular DRS zone that leads down the main straightaway towards the first turn. Overtaking, though, is not really the easiest thing to do around here, considering how fast and demanding this track really is for a track like this. But yeah, it should be quite interesting. We'll see how everyone will fare tonight. I would imagine, though, that I think if I remember from last game, because this race is a normal race, it's short qualifying and, of course, the main race. I think it's still the same as it was in terms of compound variations, which is the C3, C2, and C1. Tires, the harder range of Pirelli tires. Sprint race usually would have C4, C3, and C2, but yeah, we're using the harder variation of the Pirelli tires, which means the tires shouldn't be too much of an issue, I think, with that sort of variation. But yeah, we'll wait to see what happens. And there are a few changes to the racetrack compared to last game. You may notice a little bit of decorations on the surface of the track. And it also has moved the finish line a little bit back. It used to be underneath the lights. It's now just a little bit past the finish line. Or is it before the the finish line? What am I saying? Sorry. I was trying to say it's, I think, just after the pit entry, if I'm not mistaken. And speaking of the pit entry, you may notice that it's different as well. The pit entry in last game used to be at the entry to turn 16, the final turn. It's now the entry is now at the main straight, kind of like what France used to have in 2018 at La Castellet. So we'll see how qualifying will pan out for everyone for tonight. The Drivers' Championship and Constructors' Championship, of course, are sealed, so it's pretty much just a race for pride at this point. The Drivers' Championship, B. Tom has claimed the Drivers' Championship and has gone for a spin as well at the exit of turn 6. Remsley is in second on 264, so he's got second all wrapped up. JTR Line in third on 191. He's got that pretty much wrapped up as well. Camden, Luca, and Sir Charles. I think those positions will be locked up as well for the top 5. Camden, Luca will finish in 4th, and Sir Charles should finish in 5th. Camden has 136, and Sir Charles has 113. Constructors, Alpine are leading on 455. Mercedes on 370. So obviously that's just a slam dunk. Constructors Championship for Alpine. Sauber in 3rd on 142. Hassan in 4th on 113. RB on 62 points. So that is in terms of the pre-race updates. We will now go into qualifying, as we will have an 18-minute session, of course, with it being a short qualifying. Camden out on track as well. GT online. We'll get the telemetry up as I go along. But yeah, it's an interesting track. Not the greatest in terms of F1 racing, but it definitely is great in terms of MotoGP racing, at least in my perspective. Sir Charles does the first time on, well, first relative time on the board with a 21.7. That's now beaten by Remsley with a 21.6. That is Mudev coming around the final corner. He'll cross the start-finish line set at 22.3. So it seems like I think the times, because I'm not too familiar with how Qatar is in this game, it seems like the times are a little bit slower, even with the finish line being just a little bit closer than what it was last game. Camden Luca about to cross the start-finish line does a 22.5. He's about just 2.5 tenths behind Mudev at the moment. Let's see here. Beat Tom, he's just coming. Oh, he's just invalidated his lap as well, so he will not set a proper lap. So right along then with Speedy Gunner, we'll give you a little lap guide then of the Losail International Circuit, and give you a lap guide around the track. Down the main straightaway, DRS open towards its first turn. Crossing the start-finish line, like I said, it's now well before the start lights, not underneath it like it was last game. Towards turn 1, down to 5th gear, and then bring it down to 4th, about exit way of the corner. Around turn 2. Oh, back end sliding just a little bit there at the exit of turn 2. Turn 3 is just all flat out. Now into the right-handers of turns 4 and 5. Down to 5th gear. These are very tricky corners to master sometimes. Definitely push you to the limits. Down towards turn 6. Another tricky traction zone. Gotta be very careful there. Around turn 7. Very slow, long corner. Oh, again, another back-end sliding there from Speedy Gunner through 8. Then 9. Fast sequence of corners. And now into the medium speed corner of turn 10. Down to 4th to the left-hander. And then back up the gears. And now we head to the double right-handers of turns 12, 13, and 14. I think there's a corner before that counts, if I remember that, the left-hander. And then there's turn 15. That's a very fast corner as well. You got to be very careful to not be on the over the white lines. On the final corner, 16, up towards the start-finish line, and he will set a 23.2. Not bad from Speedy Gunner. That'll put him into at least 6th position. Beat Tom about to cross the line. Let's see what he can come up with. He does a 21.4, so he's now 2 tenths clear of his championship rival of Remsley. Yeah, Remsley's fair. He was up by a tenth, then he improves by a tenth to a 21.5. Alright, let's see, Job, he's just coming around the final corner of 16, heading down the main straightaway towards turn 1, entry speed towards the first turn, about nearly 200 miles an hour, brings it down to 4th gear. Oh, back end, wow, that was a lot of back end slide there from the Red Bull. I think if I remember too, those grandstands there, that turns 1, 2, and 3, I think they just implemented those, if I remember correctly, in this game. Yeah, that was a new addition to when they were trying to remodel Qatar. They also remodeled the paddock in this game as well, to make it look relative to real life. Let's see, Remsley back in the pits. Job around turn 10. See what he can come up with. Yeah, I think this is turn 11. Yeah, I think this is just an insignificant corner. Yeah, the right-handers here, 12, 13, and 14. Yeah, they're normally flat with these Formula 1 cars. In MotoGP, though, they are a bit of a pain sometimes. They're not as fast. Yeah. These cars are doing 121s in MotoGP. If you're doing like in the game or real life, they'd be doing low 150s. Job crossing the line, so it's a 26.0. He's Oh, he is quite a long, long way behind. About 5 seconds behind B-Tom. See what Sir Charles can do. He has had some decent pace, I have noticed, from Sir Charles. Looking somewhat competitive, I've seen recently. Let's see if he can maybe challenge somewhat towards the front of the grid. He is only about 3/10 off pole position, or yeah, 3/10 off pole position. All right, through turn 1, around turn 2, and then into turn 3. Pretty much all flat there through turn 3. Now it's to 4 and 5. The double right-handers down to 6th gear. Lifting just a little bit there to get the car rotated as best he can. Gets around just fine. And he's up by 1/10 of a second to the first sector already. Up towards now turn 7. Oh, excuse me. Ready down the 4th, up the gears through 8, and then turn 9. And then bring it down to 4th through turn 10. And then get back on the power, get the good traction as best you can out of that corner. Clock says for Sir Charles, he's up by nearly 1/10 and a half. I don't think he'll have enough, though, to gain a position, but he'll definitely improve nonetheless. Oh, that is very close to track limits there. Right on the edge of the white lines. Using every single inch of the track limits. Crossing the start-finish line. Yeah, he only improves by 2/10, but it's not enough to gain a position. Goes to a 121.548. Here is our reigning champion, B-Tom, coming around the final corner. He'll start his flying lap as Kluka has joined as well. He is in the Williams. Of course, Kluka, from recent memories, if I remember, back on 23, he actually was quite quick around Qatar. See if he can carry that in this game. Around turn 2, up towards turn 3 comes the Mercedes of B-Tom. Into the double right-handers at turns 4 and 5. Down to 5th gear. Trying to keep the car pointing in the right direction. I was going to say keep it hooked. Nearly 2/10 up, though, in the first sector. So he is finding a little bit more time. Okay, through 8 to 9, up towards turn 10. Small lockup. But gets through there very nice. What will the clock say here for B-Tom? Up by 2/10 still. He's improved by at least a few hundredths. Flat out through 12, 13, and 14. Not even a single lift out of any of those corners from the Mercedes driver. He definitely will be improving, as Raikkonen has now joined as well. Crossing the line, it's a 21 dead. Oof. Definitely showing you why he is the defending champion. That's showing the pace already here in qualifying. Nearly half a second clear of Remsley. It's about 4.5 tenths, more realistically. Speed Gunner on a flying lap. Camden goes back into the pits. Mudev on an out lap. GTO Lion currently sitting 4th with a 21.7. There is only about 4.5 minutes to go. Yeah, with that, at this rate, though, we'll at least have 10 cars on the grid. With Raikkonen and Kluka joining late. Alright, Remsley, he is on an out lap at the moment. Mudev is on an in lap. So Remsley is out early, it seems. About nearly 3.5 minutes remaining here in this qualifying session here in Qatar. And of course, being the last round of the championship. But who knows, though, what will be the future of the F1 side of things here in TCR. I have seen that they've been trying to do a little bit of iRacing, trying to get something at least going with that. So hopefully we'll see what the future holds, though, once we get into the off season. Yeah, I have been noticing, though, it's not just been in TCR, but in a lot of other leagues I have been noticing. F1 obviously hasn't been the most appealing game this year with F1 24. But, yeah. There we go. Remsley through turns 1 and 2. But yeah, it's just basically how everyone just feels about the game. It's just, everyone just kind of gets sick of all this stuff with Codemasters and everything like that at this rate. Which I don't blame everyone for. Alright, Remsley through 5. And then into turn 6. Clock says up by nearly a tenth and a half, but he has not improved significantly enough, though, in that first sector. He needs to find a bit more time. As there is a spinning car as well. I think that would be... Is that Job, I think, in the Red Bull? I think that is. Who has spun. No, it was another blue car. It might have been Speedy Gunner then. Middle sector up by 3/10, so he needs to find about another tenth and a half at least in order to get pole position here. Does Remsley? Round the final corner now, up towards the start finish line. What will the time be for the Alpine driver as he comes around the final turn to cross the start finish line? Will it be in the 20s? Oh, no it will not. But he's 3 thousandths off B-Tom. 3 thousandths. That is close. Alright, let's see. Speedy Gunner about to start lap. Camden will be starting lap very shortly. So will GTR Line. Oh, I'm keen to see how Kluka will do because I know how quick he is. I've seen how quick he is around Qatar. So let's see what he can do. And we'll keep our eyes as well on the reigning champion. Sir Charles could be another one in the mix, I would say, for this qualifying session. Heading through turn... Oh, actually, B-Tom might have botched the lap. So that's his qualifying done then. He must have made a mistake somewhere, as he leaves a big trail of dust. So Charles crossing the start finish line up by 12 thousandths of a second. That's definitely not enough. GTL Line up by nearly 2 tenths. How about Kluka? He is coming up to the end. Oh, sorry, he's at turn 7. He was at a 30.4, I think it said, to the first sector for him. So Charles is about to come to the end of the middle sector right about now. What will the clock say for him as the clock hits 000? He is down by a tenth. That definitely will not be a significant improvement, considering how the corners are flat around here. 87 thousandths is the margin up for GTR Line. I think that was a 57.8 or 57.7, I think that said for Kluka. So Charles about to cross the start finish line. It's not going to be an improvement. He stays where he is in third. Can GTL Line bump him? No, he does not. What about Kluka? He goes 5th fastest with a 22.1. Not bad, actually, for only just doing 1 lap. It's actually a pretty good lap indeed. Oh, Speedy Gunner decides to explore the... explore the bit of the gravel there, I suppose. And I think that will be the end of qualifying. We'll just see what Mudif can do as he's rounding the final turn. What will the time be for him as he crosses the line? 21.7. He actually bumps Kluka down to 6th place. And once again, it's pretty much the same story as it's been all season long. B-Tom on pole position with Remsley not even close. Not even close. Not that far away, I should say. Literally is just about there. 3,000 separating the top two. Just wasn't enough to get pole position. Alright, so it's B-Tom on pole, Remsley second, so Charles third. By Lion, Mudev, Kluka, Camden, Speedy Gunner, and Job. That is the 9 cars for this race. 10 though if we do get Raikkonen in the car. Yep, and I have just got confirmation too that we will not have a formation lap. Not a surprise considering how the game is in terms of the formation lap. Yeah, I think that also with that qualifying session with B-Tom and Remsley, that might be the closest I think we've seen all season long, let alone being just those two. It's only been just those two at the front. Yeah, they've been pretty much just the class of the championship. I do say though, the padded building does look quite nice. It does look quite well designed. I think it was. I don't think it was like a two-story building, if I remember correctly, or a three-story building, I should say. So yeah, we will have a 29 lap race. So pretty much like the same distance as Miami and Bahrain and what's another track that has 29 laps in the China. That's right. Alright, well here we go then. 5 red lights and we are underway for the final time here in TCR. Looks like a good start there from Big Tom and as we head up towards the first corner. Side by side between Sir Charles and GTR line as we head into turn 1. Mudev trying to stay ahead of also the other cars behind him as well, Fluka and Camden, as they make their way through turns 2 and then into turn 3. There's a good chance that we might see a lone DRS train though, considering how fast this track is. Well, side-by-side action here between GTR Lion and Sir Charles, and running wide just a little bit there. That's Camden, and running a little bit off a bit. That's Kluka in the Williams, who had a little bit of a moment there at turn 6. And through the high sequence of corners of 8 and 9, and then into turn 10, to goes the rest of the cars. A little bit of dust that looked like was kicked up there on the outside there at turn 10. Heading through turn 15. Fast left-hander. Everyone trying to keep within the white lines. Don't want to get any track limit warnings. It's very easy to do so on a track like this. As they'll cross the start-finish line to end the first lap. And pretty much everyone except for Jove, who has had a moment. Oh dear, he's had a moment at the final corner and has destroyed his front wing. Now I actually see Raikkonen is in the Sauber. I've just realized it. So he is in the car. Good to see indeed. So apart from Joe having a little spin, everyone's pretty much within under a second. As we head through turns 4 and 5. See what the tires are everyone's on. Not a total surprise, it's the medium tires. Hard tires are kind of hard in this game to at least start off with, especially with a heavy fuel load. It seems like in this game too. If they'll lose a bit of touch though to the top 4, he needs to keep up if he wants to get DRS. As we head through turns 12, 13, and 14. Remsley right behind B-Tom, closing in. And when have we not seen Remsley and B-Tom close at all this season? They've been pretty much close to one another all season long. Remsley sets the fastest lap, and he's going to have DRS thanks to the new rules. And like that, he'll take the race lead on lap 3. A 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits. I'm thinking that's going to be at least the end of his night for him. Highly doubt we're going to see a safety car unless a big crash happens, which really shouldn't. Oh my gosh, yeah, that is that is horrible. All that big plume of smoke that everyone has to deal with. That's terrible. Yeah, that's thanks to the new little update that they brought in Codemasters to give you a bit of a bigger smoke screen than ever before. Yeah, that's been a problem since F1 22, and now with this game it's even worse. Yeah, it would suck if you're a console player. I mean, PC, you can obviously turn that off. You can turn off particles and whatnot. Ramsey sets another fast lap, but he's going to get overtaken by B-Tom with DRS. And like that, he'll take the race lead back. And Jove actually didn't retire. I thought he would have done so after getting a 10-second penalty. He came out on the hard tires, and he's also spun at turn 6. Meanwhile, Camden's gone past Mudev. That's for 5th place. So we've got 2 DRS trains. Pretty much the top 4 and from 5th to 9th. Although Raikkonen has actually dropped back a little bit. Yeah. Oh, that's wide and breaking the brake markers there. That's Mudev and trying to go down the inside. That was Kluka. but was not close enough. And another minor lock-up there from Camden. The rest of the cars go through. On the background there. Oh, pushing the limits there. So that's very fast sequence of fours. Now Job is officially retired. So that is the end of the race then for Job in the Red Bull. So it's turn one, Remsley closing in. He won't be closing in enough though to overtake Beatom, not just yet. But definitely going to be difficult for the cars behind him. That being Sir Charles and GTR line. As Camden goes around the outside, that's at turn two. I think he got him initially at turn one on the inside. Luca trying to find a way by, cannot find a way by, has to stay behind at least for now. But yeah, pretty much in this track, if you're not within DRS range, it's kind of, well, you're kind of really in the same position, aren't you? You can't really do much. Either you're in DRS or you're not. Pretty much the story of being in this game. Driving on this game. Lockup, minor lockup. Don't think that was a legit lockup if I'm totally fair. Chubbs also officially left the session here. Battery wise though, top two have actually done quite well with their batteries. Sir Charles though has not been the best so far. Out of the whole four, he's down to 30% battery. Trying to keep up with everybody else. But the top two, meanwhile, have been managing it quite well. Ludev was looking, but he wasn't close enough to attack Camden. Now Speedy Gunner might be at risk of actually losing these cars in front of him. He's about 8, make that 9 tenths behind. Well, as I said before, if you don't get DRS, well, that's just pretty much, you're just out of luck. Alright, through turns 8 and 9, up towards turn 10. Now, Raikkonen has not been able to close up on that train at all. He's been stuck at about 1.5 seconds. He just needs the cars in front of him to fight in order for him to catch up. Ramsley just staying behind with DRS, not playing much of a fight. Something I kind of expect at least, because you kind of want to save up your battery as best you can. Mudev gets by Camden, which he has not done exactly that. Luca, same story, has not done a great job in terms of saving battery either. Neither has Speedy Gunner in this whole drink. Raikkonen though's got 85% from what I saw, even though he's not in that DRS train. But it's good to see the others in the fight, though. Sir Charles and GTR Line. I mean, we've seen on a couple of occasions that they have been in the fight, but normally it's been the top two, being Remsley and Beatom, always break away and then have their own little fight at the front. But thanks to Qatar, though, and the fact that the DRS is enabled after just the first lap, it's much easier to at least try to get to them on DRS. But so Charles might be at risk of losing them, but he should still be within DRS touching distance, just about. as they head out of the final corner onto the main straight away. We begin lap 8 of 29. Like I said, we still got a little bit of ways to go. Kluka overtakes Mudev. Oh, interesting. Okay. Maybe Mudev must have made a mistake somewhere at the final corner. Yeah, Speedy Gunner has lost DRS touch, unfortunately, to Camden, Kluka, and Mudev, so he just needs those guys to fight. Like I said, for Raikkonen's situation. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much going to be the race for him. It's just driving alone. In fact, he's actually lost a little bit more time. He's now down to 2.3. And Raikkonen now has closed in. Tom also breaking away a little bit slightly here, about 7/10 ahead of Remsley. But Remsley will claw that gap back thanks to DRS. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Alright. Through one. If you kind of think about, though, like how this track really is for these cars. As Kluka goes around the outside of Camden, that's for 5th place. There isn't really many heavy braking zones around here. I think the slowest areas of the racetrack would be this area here, turn 6. And 7, probably. And that's literally about it. As far as like a slow sequence of corners. Maybe the final corner as well. But as I said before, they're not very slow. Like this track has about like, ooh, Camden made a slight error, and I think Kluka did too. Then goes through his Mudev and the Mercedes, who also has a bit of a tank slapper. He's gonna get the Sauber alongside and through. Oh, but he tags the back of him. Fortunately, though, Camden still keeps it straight. Great save from the punt, but unfortunately lost out to Kluka. I imagine that would definitely hurt the rear tires a little bit. Gotta say though, the aerial shot though does look quite nice of the circuit here. Just looking over the first sector, back onto the main cameras. Still same stories here. Top 4 still within touching distance. Remsley though is down by nearly over 8/10. He needs to claw that gap back if he wants to have a chance with DRS, and well, he will. Just enough obviously to get DRS, and he'll claw that gap back up to beat Tom with the 8 of DRS. He'll close about 2/10 maybe? Yeah, a little bit, about 2/10. Remsley going off the racing line just slightly. Might be a little way of trying to save the tires a little bit, being stuck in behind the dirty air from the car in front of you. Because when you're stuck in the derriere behind another car, it tends to hurt the front tires a little bit when you're going through the corners. And not to mention as well, Pirelli are literally the worst tire manufacturer in known history. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of them at all. Yeah, we've had Pirelli as a tire manufacturer for 11 years. No, wait. 11 years? No, 13 years. 13 or 14 years, something like that. 13 years. Since 2011, that's what I was going to go to. Ooh, bit of a slide there from Camden. Alright, DRS wide open for Mudev. Here he comes. To the inside, and he will scoot by the Sauber and get up into 6th place. Oh, but Camden gets quite a good run here out of turn 3. He's now definitely alongside the Mercedes. Sane gets through. Back into 6th place. As they get a face full of smoke. Alright, and into the pits comes Sir Charles and GTR Lion. So I'm thinking this will be an undercut attempt on both Ramsley and B-Top. What is that lighting at the pit lane? That is just horrible lighting. Did you see how the mechanics of the car was when they were in the pit lane? Here, I'll give you another demonstration here. Look at this. It looks like they look like they're coming from like they're like angels from heaven just ascended onto the pit lane, or just heaven just opened up on the pit lane boxes. That is hilarious to see. So Sir Charles and GTL Line come out 6th and 7th. They've obviously got a bit of clear air. Well, Sir Charles does. Not so much for Lion, because obviously he's trying to keep up with the Haas. Let's see if these two respond. Oh yeah, I forgot the pit lanes at the front of the front straight. Ramsey was thinking about it, but he decided now I'll go for another lap. Close it on B-Tom, not quite enough. As Kluka has decided that he'll come in as well. For what should be a set of hards as well. Into the pits he comes. Up goes the car, and away goes the Williams. Raikkonen comes in as well. Bolt on the hards, and away the Sauber goes. Let's see, the gap right now between Sir Charles and B-Tom, the gap is 25 seconds. I think they would be roughly close if they were to box now, these two drivers. Oh, a bit of a slap. Snap of oversteer. Oh, B-Tom! Goodness me. He really slammed on those brakes. Well, at least he stopped the car just in time. And he'll bolt on the hards, and off he goes. Maybe? Yeah, there you go. Alright, where is Sir Charles? He's just coming around the final corner. These two are just about to come to the end of the pit lane. Oh, it's gonna be very, very close. Oh, and Ramsley comes off worse out of those two. He gets overtaken by both Sir Charles and GT Online. I am not sure what happened to Ramsley though in that pit stop. He must have had a slow pit stop or something in order to be overtaken by those two. So now Sir Charles is in net P2 with GTR Line net P3. Oh, but Sir Charles runs wide. He runs very wide. Off the track. Dear, oh dear. He ran extremely wide. Understeered like a boat there. And I think because of that, he is going to lose out DRS to V-Tom. It's a second. I don't think he's going to get it. Not only that, he's also depleted all his battery. No, he actually does have DRS. So does V-Tom because he was behind Mudev as he came into the pit. But through goes GTR Line because he has got more battery. And he now moves up into second place. Yeah, just an unfortunate little mistake there from Sir Charles. If he didn't make that mistake, I don't think he would be behind GTR Line at this rate. Line, though, might be in a position to possibly win this. We'll have to wait and see. Still got a lot of laps to go. 14 more laps remaining till the checkered flag. The gap right now is hovering at 9/10 as Camden and Kluka swap places. Camden now gets ahead. Interesting. How did Camden get that close even though he was about 2 seconds behind him? Guessing Kluka made some sort of mistake somewhere. Speedy gonna get a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Line though is losing at DRS. Oh no, he's got it just in time. He just got it in time, and here comes Ramsley to get by Sir Charles. Yeah, nothing much he could do about that situation. He could be running on, like, lower wings, I feel, Sir Charles. I know that's something that he tends to do, is run on a little bit lower wings compared to everybody else. Raikkonen overtakes Speedy Gunner, that's for 8th position. As Raikkonen has left the session. I'll see if I can get him back in. There you go. Oh, B-Tom's made a mistake too! What the? I turned my back for a brief second and now all of a sudden B-Tom has made an error or something. He's down to 4th place and Lyon's in the lead. What on earth happened? It was just for a brief second, I could have made many to invite Raikkonen, and then all of a sudden, yeah, B-Tom's now down to 4th, and Ramsley now takes the lead from his teammate. What a strange little coincidence, as someone's hand gets in front of the camera. Luca gets by his brother there. That will be for 5th place. It's pretty much the Luca brothers battle for just the top 5. Alright, around the final corner now. It's our Alpine 1-2. Who would have thought of this coming into this race, I guess? Here comes B-Tom. He's going to get by Sir Charles. Down the inside he goes. Or maybe he is running higher wings. I'm not sure. He's still alongside the Mercedes. Sir Charles he fights very hard. Good defense, but I don't think it'll be enough as they go down the B-Tom goes down the inside and takes 3rd place. Nice little camera shot there from the rear wing of the Alpine. Oh, there we go. Now Raikkonen's joined back. Well, that's a shame after that disconnect. He's now all the way down to 9th place. Stone dead last. Alright, through turn 1. 10 more laps remain here in this Qatar Grand Prix. We have 3-second penalty, multiple warnings. B-Tom can maybe put spoils to the Alpine party here. The Alpine 1-2. Trying to close in on GTR line and get back up to his main rival. Get another mistake there from B-Tom. That will cost it a little bit of time, but she should be fine. He's actually closing in on GTR line, closing it fast. To the outside he goes. He had an enormous amount of exit overspeed. Into turn 2, they're side by side. But Lion holds firm, keeps the place, defending very hard for his teammate. Round turns 4 and 5. Up towards turn 6 he goes. It's good to see, though, at least someone else other than B-Tom and Remsley being up towards the front. No offense, no need to be petty about it, but about those two being at the front all the time. It's just that it's just been the common battle. But it's good to see that there's more people now involved in the battle, with the likes of Sir Charles and GTR Lion in the mix. Oh, hey, that's gonna hurt Sir Charles. A 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Three-tenths the margin between the two Alpines. It's about little over a second, I believe, separating the top four. Minor lock up there from GTR Lion. And a bit of a wiggle there from his teammate in front of him. Everyone just saving the battery as best they can. Unfortunately though for Sir Charles, he's out of the whole mix for the race win or podium thanks to that 3-second penalty. He has to hope for at least one of those guys at the front maybe at least can get a penalty and then maybe fight for the race. For the podium, I should say, not the race, my bad. Of course he's still fighting the race. Alright, well here comes the top, splitting the Alpines! Oh, what? Okay, there was a bit of lag. I'm sorry if the commentary was a bit rubbish there. I got caught up by the lag, but he split the Alpines, my goodness! What a brilliant move though from B-Tom. Moves it back into the lead. He just found the gap in the middle and just went for it. That's definitely a move made by a champion, that's for sure. But the race obviously is definitely not over yet. Not between the top three, unless somehow the top three take each other out and so Sir Charles will end up winning, but I don't necessarily see that happening, unfortunately for Sir Charles' sake. But no matter what happens, though, it's actually been a good race to see with these four drivers. At least trying to challenge the front runners of the championship all season long to fight for the race lead. B-Tom sets the fastest lap of the race, but he is going to get overtaken by Remsley into the first turn, and does so. He now moves back into the lead as Speedy Gunner gets a penalty for multiple warnings. Raikkonen also overtakes him in the process. There's only 6 more laps remaining here in this Qatar Grand Prix. Remsley still hanging on as best he can. I think it's been a while since I've seen Remsley be on the top step of the podium. If I recall the last time, I think, was it back at Monaco? I want to say was the last time I've actually seen him on the top step. Building the gap a little bit though between himself and B-Tom, but I think that gap will close back up. I'll have to look up though when was the last time that he actually won Remsley. I think it's been a while though, if I'm not mistaken. He's actually now, speaking of which, he's actually now built up the gap between himself and B-Tom by about over a second. Oh, as B-Tom gets a penalty. Oh, that is very huge. That's very, very huge in this race. The championship leader has a penalty to his name. Which means this could be an Alpine 1-2 as well. Seems like B-Tom's pace has suddenly started to drop off. Actually, I have just looked back and seen when the last time Remsley won a race. It was back at Hungary was the last time he won. Yeah, he's won at Austria, and then of course I remember he won at Monaco. Or was it the Hungarian sprint? No, it was the Hungarian sprint. So it's been Austria since the last time he actually won a race. More track limits there from B-Tom. He needs to be very careful. He doesn't want to get another penalty. If he does, that means that could be at least a podium being out of the question. So yeah, with that sudden drop off of pace, losing out to Remsley there, he might be falling off here. The 3 laps remaining here in this Qatar Grand Prix. Around turn 7. Turn 8, turn 9, turn 10. Small lockups there, but I don't think that's legitimate lockups, of course, with this game. It's crazy the gap, though, between the top 4 and then the rest of the field. The next car behind Sir Charles is Camden, who is 33 seconds behind. They're at turn 7. These guys are coming around the final corner. I think one of them is about to be lapped. That is Raikkonen, I think, in front of them. As we move on to the penultimate lap of the race. GTO Lion going down the inside. He gets the move done ahead of B-Tom. That is for second place. And at the moment, definitely looking like an Alpine 1-2. Now can Sir Charles snatch the podium away from the champion? Now Sir Charles does definitely got to be thinking about licking his chops. Think about when can he pull off the move. He needs to get very close. He needs to be within like at least half a second, under half a second, if he wants some sort of chance. I know B-Tom will get DRS, but depending on how much exit and overspeed that Haas has got over the Mercedes, I wouldn't rule out Sir Charles out just yet. But he's got to get going. He needs to push. His target is the Mercedes, not the Alpine, because the Alpine's got no penalties. As we are on to the final lap of the race, and Vitom is going to go ahead of the Alpine there for second place. Oh, Sir Charles going down the inside. He's got that done. Sir Charles, oh, big wiggle there from Vitom. He's going to lose a little bit more time, and that's going to allow Sir Charles to close up. Sir Charles, he cannot afford a mistake. He needs to keep bringing the pressure on the Mercedes. Up towards the up towards turn 7. Half a second the margin here. Round turn 10. I am not sure if Sir Charles has enough. He needs to get close. He needs to get really close. Vitom, though, has got the battery advantage compared to him. He really needs to get a good exit out of the penultimate turn. Oh, but he gets another penalty! And that's the dagger right there. Oh, what a costly error. But meanwhile, though, Ramsey takes the race win. His first race win since Austria. As the RP of Speedy Gunner slams the wall. GTL Line, though, completes second place, making it an Alpine 1-2. Vitom third, followed by Sir Charles. Oh, that is unfortunate there for Sir Charles. But he ran a very good race. Oh, Skluka gets a penalty. Well, he is definitely not going to finish in 5th, even though he had a chance to get by Camden. Camden gets the best of him and takes 5th place. Skluka will finish in 6th, and Mudev finishing in 7th. And then it'll be Raikkonen, just to come across the line shortly, will finish in 8th place. And also, I don't think we'll be doing interviews too. I try to for most of the races I do, but like my headset's almost about to die. Like I'm not even joking about that. So. Yeah, but no, good job by everyone that participated, especially the top 4. It was actually a really good race to watch. Raikkonen decides to do a little bit of celebratory donuts. As my controller keeps dying. Sorry, Raikkonen. If you do watch it back, I'm sorry if I didn't catch all of your donuts. My controller just decided to die on the spot. GTL Line gets driver of the day. A great result for the Constructors Champions. Alpine winning here in Qatar. A great result for the team. Vitom, though, gets 3rd place. Yeah, apparently had some mistakes there that definitely costed him. He definitely had some rare snaps. Unfortunately, that cost him the chance for the win, and probably to at least not get any track limit penalties. Yeah, fortunately got a 3-second time penalty that pretty much was the nail in the coffin for his chance for a race win. I don't think we're gonna get to the final results screen, are we? Yeah, I'll close out the stream very shortly. I'll let the drivers know that if they want to do interviews. I mean, it's just that my headset's nearly about to die, so I don't want to have a interview like that sort of particular way. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, now congratulations though to Alpine, and congratulations to B-Tom. But yeah, it's been a season. That's all I can pretty much say about it. But hey, it was something that we got through at least. But yeah, we'll see what goes on for next season, or well, depending on what actually happens in the F1 side of things. But yeah, whenever that will be, if we do another season of F1, we'll see what happens. But until then, I have been K1997. Thank you very much, and yeah, take care, and we'll see you whenever I get back for another season. Congratulations once again to the Alpine team for the constructors, and of course B-Tom for the championship. Yeah, it was actually a pretty decent season in aspect to watch the Bremsley and B-Tom to duke it out one another. Anyway.